Midnight Talk presents American Express, The Last Transaction, Part 1. The clock on the wall struck 11:58 p.m. Outside, Manhattan's skyline blinked like a dying circuit board. Inside a one-bedroom apartment, Evan Reed stared at his computer screen, the blue glow painting half his face while the other half drowned in shadow. Empty coffee cups lined his desk. In the corner, his American Express Platinum card caught the light, the embossed letters almost alive in the flicker. Evan was an accountant, precise, polite, predictable. But tonight, his chest ached with something darker. Want. He'd spent the last hour scrolling through luxury listings, cars, condos, vacations, things he could never afford. Then just before midnight, an email appeared. From executive at American Express. Black subject. Invitation. The last transaction. No company header, no disclaimer. Just a line of text that read, "At midnight, your limits disappear. Enter only if you're willing to pay the true price." Below was a button glowing faintly silver. Accept. He hesitated. Phishing scam, he told himself. But curiosity is a quiet monster. He clicked. The browser turned black. Then a symbol appeared, an eye inside a card chip, followed by a single phrase. "Welcome to the Black Division." A voice came through his laptop speakers, deep and calm. Voice. "Good midnight, Mr. Reeds." "You've been pre-approved." Evan's throat tightened. "For what?" Voice. "For more." At 12:01 a.m., his phone buzzed. A notification from the Amex app. Pending charge, $1 merchant, the executive desk description. Trust fee. He laughed nervously. Cute. But the moment he pressed approve, the apartment lights dimmed. A faint static hiss filled the air, like the room itself exhaled. His phone lit again. Another message. Transaction approved. Limit upgraded. No ceiling detected. And beneath it a whisper, real, close, behind him. "Congratulations, Evan." He spun around. No one. The next morning his boss called. "Boss, Reeds, the client from Dubai, just doubled the investment. You'll handle it. Expect a bonus." Evan blinked. "Me? But, boss, you earned it." When the call ended, his Amex balance refreshed. Credit limit, infinity. For 3 nights the pattern repeated. Each midnight brought a new charge. $10, $100, $1,000. Each followed by sudden windfalls. Unexpected profits, promotions, attention he'd never had. He told himself it was coincidence. But he started leaving his phone beside the bed, waiting for the next approval. On the 5th night, the charge appeared before midnight. $0, the executive desk. Description, final transaction. The same voice returned, softer now, almost intimate. Voice, "The balance must close, Evan. Approve, and everything you desire becomes yours forever." Evan, "And if I don't?" Voice, "Then everything you have returns to us." He swallowed hard. "Who's us?" Voice, "American Express, in its truest form. We don't extend credit, we extend faith, and faith is always repaid." The air grew cold. His reflection on the dark monitor smiled, though his own lips did not. Reflection. Approve. He tapped the button. Silence. Then the smell of ozone. The card on his desk began to glow faintly red. Its surface pulsed once, twice, then cracked down the middle like glass. From somewhere deep inside, the crack came a whisper of thousands of voices layered together. Approved. Evan's pupils dilated. He gasped, clutched his chest, and the world went black. 48 hours later, Detective Sarah Mills stood in that same apartment, the card sealed in a plastic bag, its surface still warm. On Evan's laptop, an email window blinked open on repeat. "Thank you for your loyalty, Mr. Reeds. Your account has transitioned to the after credit program. Sarah frowned. After credit, the forensic tech shrugged. Never heard of it. Looks like internal Amex data, but the servers don't exist. She stared at the glowing iChip emblem on the card and felt for a moment that it stared back. That night, alone in her office, she drafted her report. Unexplained cardiac arrest, possible electrical malfunction. But as she typed, her monitor flickered. An Amex ad popped up. Unprompted, no browser open, because you deserve more. Then her desk phone rang. Voice, Detective Mills. Evan Reed spoke highly of you. She froze. Who is this? Voice, the executive desk, American Express. Would you like to discuss your new account? Click. Her phone displayed a new notification. Pending charge, $1. Description, curiosity fee. Her reflection in the screen smiled faintly, eyes darker than they should be. The last transaction. Part 2. The night after Sarah Mills discovered the strange curiosity fee charge, her apartment felt smaller, as if the walls had moved closer while she was gone. She had seen plenty of cyber fraud, but nothing that made her stomach feel like it was packed with ice. The line item was still on her personal American Express statement, dated the same second she'd opened the encrypted file from the abandoned Black Division server. She stared at it again. Amount $0. Merchant after credit / Amex div 01. Description, curiosity fee initiated. No amount, no address, but her card now refused to cancel. When she tried, the operator's voice had glitched into a distorted harmony, repeating, curiosity acknowledged. Then the line went dead. Sarah spent the next morning building an offline rig. No Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, a machine born from paranoia. She imported the mirrored drive she'd stolen from the division's office in Boston, expecting standard financial metadata. Instead, she found folders that behaved like living organisms. Their file sizes changed every time she blinked. Each folder carried a year, 1924, 1957, 1989, 2022, and a subfolder named Cardholder Experiences. Inside were PDF transcripts of phone calls, letters, and something else, handwritten testimonies scanned on company stationery, all ending with the same sentence. I paid everything I owed, but the account keeps billing my name. Sarah traced the earliest record back to a banker named Charles H. Meeker, who vanished in 1924 after introducing a Black Division to track elite clients' moral risk. The last page of his report was signed not by him, but by something titled Creditor Primus. The signature line was blank, but the pen pressure carved through the paper. At 3 a.m., unable to sleep, Sarah's computer powered on by itself. A window appeared. No OS interface, just black screen and text. Welcome back, Investigator Mills. Outstanding balance, one soul. Payment method, disclosure. She slammed the power button. The machine refused to shut down. Every monitor in her apartment flickered the same words. Then silence. The text changed once more. We need you in field div 03. The coordinates led to a boarded-up building on the outskirts of Hartford, once an American Express regional archive. The glass doors were chained, but her badge still unlocked them. Inside, fluorescent lights hummed weakly, revealing rows of locked cabinets marked obsolete accounts. She followed the echo of a printer, steady as a heartbeat, until she reached a cubicle still warm from use. A single document slid from the tray. It was a contract, her name already filled in, printed with the same typeface as every customer agreement she'd ever signed. Clause 9A caught her eye. The undersigned accepts liability for all investigative interest accrued beyond natural comprehension. The signature line waited. Her hand shook as she traced her finger over the empty space. The paper pulsed beneath her skin, faintly warm, like something breathing. Behind her, a voice. Detective Mills? We've been waiting. Sarah turned. A man in a charcoal suit stood in the dim light. No ID, but the Amex logo shimmered faintly on his lapel. An older design, retired decades ago. He smiled with banker's courtesy. I'm Mr. Reddick, Collections. She asked who employed him. Same as you, he said. Only we operate after credit. You research numbers, we balance intentions. He explained, or tried to, that the Black Division had been formed to stabilize faith in currency after the Great Depression. But their true commodity wasn't money. It was belief, the promise people made when they said, I'll pay later. Every delayed payment leaves residue, he said. A debt of will. We collect that. But you looked too far, so the account inverted. Now you owe disclosure. Sarah raised her phone to record him. The camera app crashed. Reddick didn't move closer, yet his voice brushed her ear. Tell them what you found, detective. That's the only way to clear the balance. She blinked, and he was gone. The contract lay on the floor, signed, her name scrawled in fresh ink. By morning, the Hartford office had vanished. Police found an empty lot, no building, no chain, only a single sheet of paper lodged in the soil. Statement closed. Account transferred to Field DIV 04. Sarah tried to quit the bureau. HR told her she'd already been reassigned to Division 04 After Credit Liaison. Her salary doubled overnight. Her ID badge changed color to the same gray as Reddick's suit. That night, new files appeared in her inbox. Dozens of them marked Client Pending Review. Every file belonged to a person who had recently reported strange activity on their American Express account. She recognized one of them instantly, her own sister. Part 3, The Debt Between Sisters. When Sarah opened the first file in her inbox, the screen felt colder. The name at the top read, Client, Emily Mills. Status, Balance Pending Review. Division, After Credit, Level 2. Her sister Emily lived 3 states away, a school teacher who still mailed Christmas cards. Sarah hadn't spoken to her in months. She scrolled down to the transaction history, except there were no transactions, only timestamps. Every night at 3:03 a.m., the same message repeated. Payment attempted, declined, emotional collateral insufficient. Sarah tried calling. The ringtone echoed twice before a click, followed by a whisper, not her sister's, but a recorded loop. Thank you for believing in better days. Your statement will arrive soon. She hung up and stared at the wall. The line on the call log read American Express, After Credit Liaison. The company's name was embedding itself everywhere. The next morning, she filed an official request to access the case. Within an hour, her supervisor replied, Access granted, family debt reconciliation. Field authorization required. No one in the bureau used that language. It didn't sound like a permission form. It sounded like a ritual. She drove 6 hours to her sister's small town in Vermont. The roads were empty, as if cleared for her arrival. At the end of a pine-lined street stood Emily's cottage. Lights off, curtains drawn. Sarah knocked once. The door creaked open. Inside, every clock was frozen at 3:03. Her sister sat at the kitchen table, eyes open but unfocused, fingers resting on a silver envelope embossed with a faint Amex logo, the same outdated crest from the Black Division files. Sarah whispered. Emily blinked slowly, as if waking from underwater. They said you'd come. You shouldn't have signed anything. Sarah's throat tightened. What did you receive? Emily slid the envelope across the table. Inside lay a single card. Black metal, no chip, no number, no expiration date. Only one word engraved. Collector. I didn't apply for it, Emily murmured, but the balance keeps growing. They said if I stop paying, someone else takes it. Who said that? Emily pointed to the corner of the room. No one stood there, but the air felt occupied. Sarah spent the night at her sister's house, too afraid to sleep. At exactly 3:03 a.m., the wall clock ticked once, its first movement all day, and the radio came alive. A low voice, male, polite. "Good evening, Miss Mills. Thank you for your continued loyalty. Division 4 welcomes you." Sarah muted the radio, but the voice continued, now inside her phone's speaker, inside the fridge compressor, vibrating the air. "Our records show your household carries combined curiosity. 2 accounts, 1 origin. It's time for reconciliation." Emily began to weep softly. Her shadow on the wall moved a second slower than her body. Sarah grabbed the collector card, intending to break it. The moment it bent, a sound like 1,000 pens scratching filled the room. Contracts being signed somewhere in the dark. The card straightened itself. Then her phone flashed a notification. Transaction alert. Collector division. Amount shared. By dawn, the town seemed slightly wrong. Houses looked similar, but their windows reflected nothing. The postman walked the same stretch twice, never acknowledging her. Sarah drove to the local American Express branch listed on Emily's statement. The building existed, but boarded up, its logo faded. Inside, dust-covered desks still held old typewriters and rotary phones. Yet a fresh cup of coffee steamed on the counter. Behind it, an elderly clerk smiled. "Good morning, Detective Mills." "Welcome back." "I've never been here," she said. "Oh, you have," the clerk replied. "You filed the first curiosity report in 1997. Division keeps good memory." He slid a ledger toward her. Inside, written by hand, was her own signature dated decades before her birth. Next to it, debt origin, family trust. 2 beneficiaries. Her vision blurred. "What does this mean?" "It means curiosity runs in the family," the clerk said gently. "One of you investigates, the other believes. The more you ask, the higher the balance. And you've been asking a lot." He leaned closer. "Would you like to make a payment?" Sarah stepped back. "How?" He pointed to the door. "By telling her the truth." That night, Sarah returned to Emily's cottage. Her sister sat awake, holding a phone that rang endlessly with no caller ID. "They said you could clear it," Emily whispered. "They said you're the one who opened the first account." Sarah remembered the file labeled 1924, Meeker, Charles H. The report she'd read mentioned family of record, Mills, successor. Somewhere in the paper trail, her name had replaced someone else's. The radio clicked again. The same voice. "Detective Sarah Mills, Account Division 04. Payment due. Please confirm disclosure." Sarah spoke aloud. "What disclosure?" "The truth about what you investigate. Tell the world what debt is." The air thickened. The lights dimmed to red. Emily's shadow detached from her body and walked towards Sarah, carrying the collector card. "Curiosity," the voice said, "is never free." The shadow pressed the card to Sarah's chest. For one heartbeat, she saw numbers, endless zeros, cascading like waterfalls of data, then blackout. When she woke, Emily was gone. The cottage empty. The clocks all reset to midnight. Her phone buzzed with a single text from an unknown number. Account merged. Statement pending. On her bureau ID, her job title had changed again. After Credit Auditor, Family Division. Part 4. The Ledger of Memory. The first morning after her new assignment appeared on her badge, Sarah's reflection lagged half a second behind her. When she moved her hand, the mirror delayed, catching up like an old video, buffering from somewhere far away. On her kitchen table lay a sealed envelope, thick paper, wax-stamped with the same crest she'd seen in the abandoned Hartford office. Inside, "Welcome to Family Division. Audit begins upon recollection." You already know what you forgot. No signature. Only an embossed line at the bottom that shimmered faintly when tilted. Curiosity repays itself through memory. At the bureau, things looked the same, yet not quite. Her colleagues greeted her politely but used the wrong name. "Morning, Miss Marin," said her assistant. She didn't correct him. When she opened her computer, the login required biometric verification. The scanner took her thumbprint but displayed someone else's initials. Account holder MM. The system accepted it anyway. The internal database had changed too. The regular fraud cases were gone. In their place sat a single encrypted directory. Ledger of memory. She clicked. Dozens of personal memories appeared as files, each name with exact times and emotions. December 17th, relief. April 9th, regret. September 3rd, fear, shared. The shared ones pulsed faintly, linked to another user. E. Mills, her sister. Sarah opened, fear, shared. The screen filled with a blurred video clip. Her childhood living room, dim and quiet, her sister crying over a broken toy. But then another figure appeared in the doorway. Someone tall, faceless, in a suit with the Amex emblem faintly glowing on the lapel. He bent down beside them, whispering, "Promises are payments in waiting." Then the file corrupted and vanished. By the third day, she realized Family Division didn't audit finances. It audited remorse. Every debt of emotion, every unspoken guilt was being cataloged and billed into reality. Her phone displayed daily statements now. Balance update. Emotional assets liquidated. 7 outstanding memory. 1. Forgiveness unpaid. The system treated memories as currency, converting empathy into collateral. She began to wonder how many of her memories were actually hers. At night, she dreamt in spreadsheets, rows of laughter, columns of pain, cells formatted with timestamps she'd never lived. In one dream, she stood in a vault carved out of light. Each drawer was labeled with human names, and when opened, released entire lives like smoke. At the center stood Mr. Reddick, still smiling, holding a pen that glowed red. "Do you see it now?" he asked. "This isn't banking. It's balancing. Every joy you forget funds another's comfort. Every sorrow you remember settles someone's debt." Sarah asked what after credit was. He gestured to the vault walls, which pulsed like breathing metal. "It's the memory market. It began when people believed too much in the future. Someone had to collect what they promised themselves." When she woke, her pillow was damp, as if she'd been crying with someone else's tears. That day she found a printed memo on her desk. No one saw who delivered it. R.E. Field visit. Client number 902F, pending recall. Address 412, Walker Street, New York City. Purpose, audit on origin debt. She checked the file number. It matched one from the 1924 archives. Charles H. Meeker, the man who'd founded the Black Division. She traveled to New York the next morning. Walker Street was long gone from the city map, but her GPS still led her to it, down an alley of red brick and dripping fire escapes. There, squeezed between 2 modern buildings, stood a narrow door painted black with gold numbers. 412. She entered. A single bulb swayed overhead. The air smelled like burnt ink and ozone. The hallway led to an office. Mahogany desk. Ledger books stacked like monuments. Behind the desk sat a man in an old banker's coat, tie perfectly straight, eyes pale as paper. On the wall hung an American Express crest, carved in stone rather than printed. "Detective Mills," he greeted. "It's been a long audit." "Mr. Meeker," she whispered. He nodded. "I began this to protect trust," he said. Then trust turned into hunger. The more people believed, the more we owed. When you trace faith to its core, it always ends in debt. He opened a ledger thicker than any Bible, its pages filled with handwriting, some human, some shaking as if written under duress. At the very end, a page marked her name, Sarah Mills, account inherited origin, debt curiosity collateral, memory of sister. She slammed the book shut. You can't take her. Meeker smiled softly. We already did. You just don't remember paying. Her phone vibrated. Notification. Memory update. Payment complete. She scrolled. One file gone. Emily Mills. Childhood. Shared. Her heart pounded. She couldn't picture her sister's face anymore. Meeker stood. Don't be sad. You're keeping the system balanced. Every question answered costs a memory. He pointed to the door. The next audit starts at home. When she turned to leave, the office was gone. She was standing in her apartment, holding the black card again. It now read, Ledger approved. That night, she stared at her reflection again. This time, the reflection smiled first. Part 5, The Collector's Promise. For days, Sarah lived between moments. Every mirror in her apartment now showed different times of day. Morning sunlight while the window behind her was black, twilight glowing when her phone read 11 a.m. Time itself was billing her. Each night a new notification arrived. Statement available. Division 4, Family Ledger. Outstanding balance, one truth. Payment method, acceptance. She stopped sleeping, afraid of what her dreams might cost. On the 7th night, a knock came at 3:03 a.m. A single envelope lay outside her door, black metallic edge gleaming. Inside, a short letter handwritten in perfect loops. Dear Ms. Mills, Division, thanks you for maintaining equilibrium. Your memory portfolio has reached maturity. You may now redeem one recollection of choice. Select carefully. Collections. For a moment, hope stirred. She could bring Emily back. But the next line changed the air around her. Redemption requires equal collateral. One belief, freely surrendered. She thought of what she still believed in. Justice. Truth. Herself. At dawn, she walked to the bureau. No guards stopped her. No cameras turned. It felt like walking through a photograph of a place she once knew. Her office door bore a new plaque. Sarah Mills. Collector. Field audits. Inside waited Mr. Reddick. Always calm, immaculate suit. Smile carved from etiquette. Congratulations, he said. You've been promoted. I didn't ask for this. Promotions are seldom requests, he replied. They're settlements. He handed her a card thicker than before, weightless yet heavy. The surface shimmered like oil under light. Engraved beneath her name, credit limit, infinite, liability, undefined. This is the collector's card, Reddick said. It finalizes balance between what's owed and what's known. Sarah studied it. What happens if I refuse? You can't, he said gently. Refusal is also a transaction. He led her into the lower levels of the building, a staircase she'd never seen on any floor plan. At the bottom stretched a vault unlike any she'd imagined. Walls of glass containing flickering scenes, snippets of lives, moments of laughter, grief, discovery. Each memory suspended like currency in circulation. Every belief someone ever swiped, every promise they made to themselves processed here, Reddick explained. When people say I owe you one, Division takes note. He stopped before a glass cell glowing faintly blue. Inside, a scene from Sarah's own past. Her and Emily as children, building towers of playing cards. Each time the tower collapsed, little Sarah whispered, "We'll build it stronger." Reddick pressed his hand to the glass. That belief, strength through failure, is our most valuable asset. You fed us well, he turned to her. Now you can reclaim this memory. All it costs is your belief in truth. Sarah trembled. If I give that up, what am I? Efficient, he said. Free of moral debt. She lifted the collector's card. The glass began to melt, releasing the memory like vapor. The air shimmered with her sister's laughter. For a second, warmth returned to her chest. Then the lights flickered red. Reddick's smile faltered. You took more than authorized. The laughter grew louder, echoing through the vault, shaking the shelves of frozen memories. Emily, Sarah whispered. The vapor coalesced into her sister's silhouette, translucent, eyes full of static. Stop paying them, the ghostly voice pleaded. Stop believing. Security alarms blared in tones that weren't mechanical, but human. Screams looped into rhythm. Reddick vanished, replaced by a disembodied announcement. Unauthorized withdrawal detected. Balance inversion initiated. Every glass wall cracked. Memories poured out like storms of light, flooding the corridor, whispering half-lived moments into Sarah's mind. She dropped the card. It fused to the floor, pulsing like a heart. A voice inside her head spoke. Familiar, calm, the system itself. You wanted to know what after credit is. It's every thought that says tomorrow I'll be better. We harvest tomorrows. You were our finest collector, Sarah screamed, but the sound emerged as someone else's laughter. When the vault light stabilized, she stood alone. The walls empty, the glass gone. Only one object remained, the collector's card, now blank. Her phone buzzed. Message from EMILY_MILLS at AFTERCREDIT.gov. Balance cleared. You kept your promise. Now run before they audit you again. Outside, dawn felt unreal. The city hummed with normalcy, people walking, cars honking, but their faces were smooth, identical, featureless placeholders. She realized the vault breach had cost something far beyond her own memory. Reality itself was paying installments. Back in her apartment, she found another envelope waiting, this one smaller, sealed with red wax. Statement, final audit pending, amount due, one identity, due date, March 3rd, midnight. Her hands shook. There was no return address, no number to call, only the faint impression of the American Express Centurion, its eyes now hollowed out. American Express, the final transaction, Part 6. The storm had been circling the city for hours. From her window in the bureau office, Detective Sarah Mills watched the lightning crawl across the skyline like cracked glass. Every bolt illuminated the American Express Tower, that black spire of mirrored panels where no reflection ever matched what stood before it. The building had gone completely dark except for the top floor. A single light burned there, steady and waiting. Sarah already knew whose office it was. She slipped the confiscated Black Division card from her coat pocket. The surface was colder than the air around her, humming faintly, a sound you didn't hear so much as feel behind the ribs. The embossed letters had begun to fade, replaced by her own name. Detective Sarah Mills. She checked the accounts that afternoon. Every missing person she traced, every client who vanished after a curiosity fee, had been filed under a single ledger. After credit program, final approvals. Beside each name was a timestamp, always set for midnight. And tonight, one more entry glowed at the bottom of the list. S. Mills. Pending. The elevator. When she entered the building, the security desk was empty. The marble floors shone like deep water. Somewhere far above, the elevator chimed of its own accord. Doors sliding open in invitation. She stepped inside. The panel had only one active button, unmarked, pulsing gold. The elevator began to rise soundlessly. There were no floor numbers, only the soft rhythm of her heartbeat and the hum of unseen machinery. Halfway up, the lights dimmed. Receipts began to drift from the ceiling like pale snow, each printed with her past. Every favor, every bribe, every lie she had told to keep a case alive. The receipts folded themselves into envelopes and vanished through the seams of the elevator walls. When the doors opened, the city stretched beneath her like an inverted night sky, windows glimmering like stars in the abyss. The boardroom. The top-floor boardroom was immense and silent. A single long table, 12 chairs. At the head sat a ledger the size of a coffin, bound in black leather and chained shut. Behind it stood the woman she'd last seen on her first visit, the account executive. Except now the woman's face was smooth as polished glass, featureless, reflecting Sarah's own eyes back at her. "Welcome, Ms. Mill," the voice said, not from the figure, but from everywhere. "You've balanced your investigation. It's time to balance your account." Sarah raised the card. "I didn't open any account." "Every curiosity is a transaction," the voice replied. "You charge interest the moment you asked why." The ledger unlatched itself. Pages turned in a wind that had no source. Each page bore a faint image, not words but moments. A reporter reaching for the phone, a banker holding the black card, her sister signing something unseen. Then the final page, blank, except for a signature line already filled with her handwriting. The truth of after credit. The figure gestured, and the skyline beyond the glass dissolved into darkness. Where the city should have been, there was a vast field of golden lights drifting in black fog. Millions of tiny receipts burning like candles, each bearing a name. "After credit is not about money," the voice whispered. "It is about attention. Every obsession, every question, every moment you spend thinking of us extends our line of credit. You wanted truth, detective. That curiosity was the payment we required." The figure reached toward her, its mirrored surface rippling with thousands of faces. Everyone who had ever used the card. Sarah tried to step back, but the floor liquefied into glass. Beneath it, she saw the other investigators, the missing clients, even her sister, all suspended as faint reflections, eyes open, whispering in static. "You said you would find me," her sister's reflection mouthed. "Now you have." The glass cracked. The final transaction. Sarah slammed the card onto the ledger. "Then take it," she said. "Erase my debt." The voice paused. "Paid in full," it said. Every light in the boardroom flared white. The air folded inward like paper burning from the edges. For a heartbeat, she felt the weight of countless signatures lift, the relief of balance restored, before the light collapsed into silence. Epilogue. When the Bureau arrived the next morning, they found the top floor abandoned. The furniture was untouched, but every reflective surface had gone dark. Mirrors, windows, even computer screens absorbed light instead of reflecting it. On the conference table lay a single object, a credit card, dull black, edges slightly scorched. Across its front, embossed in silver, one new title gleamed, Account Executive S. Mills, and beneath it, smaller text only visible under the right angle of light. After Credit Division, balance never expires. The building's power returned at midnight. The top floor's lone light switched on again, and somewhere far above the sleeping city, a phone began to ring. End of American Express, the last transaction.